cord for my phone. So I tried not to use it up here.
Well, I think it's 1 o'clock. We're just about to get started. Hi everybody, welcome to the meeting. I'm always thrilled to see what a great turnout we have. Thanks for coming. Number 2, please turn on your cell phones. Nobody ever thinks their cell phone is going to ring, but inevitably somebody's does. So we'll try that. Do we have any new members here? I know we do. Raise your hand. Okay, tell us your name.
Noah Gerald Bickle.
Thank you. Lorene.
Lorene Vaya.
And
Gail Nelson.
terrific. Thank you. Welcome. Let's see now. Next. Plant Native Day results. Thank you for everybody who came to Plant Native Day. It was the best Plant Native Day we've ever had. We had over 300 visitors, and that's just what we counted before, our clicker ran out. And we did something in the neighborhood of over $1,700 in donations, which is wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. We will have plants for sale at the end of this meeting at the far end of the parking lot in the fenced-in area by the shed. Of course, you can't sell every single plant on Plant Native Day. So we have some leftover plants to sell. The suggested donations are $4 for the small ones and $8 for the big ones.
That's for the milkweeds. The others are donation by whatever you want to pay.
Okay, the
The
other ones.
milkweeds, there are small 4-inch pots, $4 we're asking, and the big ones in the gallon containers we're asking $8, only so we can recoup an investment. And it's $1 less on the 4-inch and $2 less on the gallon size than what we were charging at the Plant Native Day.
So they're a bargain.
They're a bargain.
Who could resist a bargain? Something else I was going to say. Ruth's little phrase, which I really like, is pick a plant, pick a price. So for the plants that aren't milkweeds, just donate whatever you'd like to donate. There will be a donation can there, and we also have our treasurer here who will collect money. That's it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it, that's it.
Okay, excellent. So that's our post-meeting plant sale. Let's see. This is the part where I always beg for volunteers. And I don't have a prepared script this time because I didn't have time, sorry. Every one of our board members actually works their fingers to the bone all the time. That's every one of us. And all these events and meetings and programs and speakers don't just happen. There is somebody behind that particular committee who has to do all that work. We are getting close to critical mass. We're not asking you to dedicate your life to this, like some board members. All we need is just a couple hours a month. For example, our grant committee does not have a lot of people to go on site visits. This usually takes in the neighborhood of 2 hours. Bobby, who's our chair, handles everything. She is so good. She talks to the people. She recommends things. Going along with Bobby on a site visit is so educational. You learn about more plants. You learn about the sites that the people have and the plants she suggests for them. It's like 2 hours once a month. We just need warm bodies. The same is true for so many different areas. Almost every board member we have right now is filling 2 positions. I would love to not have that be the case. I would like for everybody to just have 1 position. So anyway, if you want to help, my email is all over our website, or you can just email to the chapter. I check the chapter email every single day. Just let us know that you'd like to help, and we will find a place for you to help. Okay, so that's the end of the volunteer for today. On the bottom of your agenda is coming events. Take note of all those, please. We'd love to have you come to our walks and to our next meeting, of course. And on the back of this is web resources. These are like-minded groups that you might find interesting. I think there's I'm not even sure, Xerxes Society is on here. That's about butterflies. And they're wonderful, but there are others. The Florida Wildflower Foundation. The handouts that we have over there about bees, they come from the Florida Wildflower Foundation. And those are provided to us and other 501c3 organizations at no cost. They are beautiful, full color flyers. We probably have, I don't know, 10, 12 different varieties of those Florida Wildflower Foundation in our stock of handouts that we give to you. So, you know, if you want to join them or just see their website, they're beautiful and full of gorgeous pictures. So there's all kinds of resources on here. Hang on to the agenda, you might find useful. Now, I'm going to turn this over to, we will have a raffle. Yes, at the end of the meeting, we will have a raffle for, there are 4 items over there. There are 3 books and a beautiful air plant that was raised by Joan, right over there at the hospitality table. And if your ticket is drawn, I hope, does anybody still need a ticket? Did everybody get a red ticket? Let's get some. Okay, does everybody else have a red raffle ticket? Because if your number is drawn, then you get to choose whichever one of those 4 things over there that you would like, and that's at the end of the meeting. That's it? Okay, I will introduce Ruth Ward, who's our program chair, and she will introduce our wonderful speaker today.
Thanks for coming out, everybody. Our speaker today is Christy Link. She began speaking on the topic of bees 9 years ago. She's the 2nd Vice President of the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs and the bee chairman for the state. When the National Garden Clubs partnered with Crown Bees, she learned that native bees are capable of pollinating much more than honeybees. Not meaning that they pollinate honeybees, they can. I heard that, something doesn't sound right. Although maybe they do.
Sounded good.
Today, she will teach us the difference between honeybees and native bees and the benefits of both. Please help me welcome Christy Link, who came all the way down from Plant City.
I'm at the Strawberry Festival, so I'm still in that horticulture mode. We have a booth there, and it's really wonderful. Over 400,000 people came to the city, so we're pretty exhausted right now. But I have to tell you that I don't know how you found me, but I have to tell you, I have spoke from Key West, I've been to Miami, I've been to Panhandle, I've been all over the state, and that is all because of the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs. I am a garden club member. I started 16 years ago. I moved here from Jersey, didn't know anybody, and this has become my whole family. So I'm very blessed to be a part of it, and I am climbing the ladder. Come April, I'll be the first vice president-elect, and we have 13 districts and 13,000 members. So it is a big deal, and we are environmental, we are legislation, we definitely fight for things of worthy causes. So I'm blessed to be a part of it. 8 years ago, actually it was 9 years ago, it'll be 9 years this year, in August, that Jan Sillick, we never had anything about bees, we never had a bee chairman. And she came up to me and she said, Christy, I think you're the gal for this. Now, I was like, oh, that's always a big doo-doo right there. So I said to her, oh boy, Jan. She says, what about being the state bee chairman? And I went, I don't know nothing about bees. All I know is they sting, and I can't really promote things that hurt people. But I'm like, I don't know. She says, I have faith in you. Well, I'll tell you what. I educated myself. I took 2 courses. I became a native bee spokesperson for the state because people don't want honeybees because they have to be licensed. You have to get them inspected. I found out that it wasn't as easy as I thought. So native bees are already in your yard. You already have them. I don't care if you have a dandelion. I don't care if you have a weed. You have a bee somewhere. So it became easy for me to talk about bees and get a passion for them, and now I'm just crazy. I mean, my husband will tell you that in my refrigerator we have 2,000 cocoons, and we have, I feed the bluebirds in the winter time, and I have maggots in there that I order every year. Nothing in there is edible. I can throw it aside. I mean, he doesn't even, I told him just don't go in there. It's my refrigerator. Because everything in there, and the hydrators are pulled out, that's my cocoons. I mean, it's just not a pretty sight in there. But it really, well, I did vermiculture for a couple of years. That grossed him out. He said, honey, listen, 30 years, I'm done. He said, I can't stand the worm thing anymore. So I had to give it up because I kept it in a cupboard in my house because you want to keep them in a dark place in a closet. And I mean, I didn't think they were stinking, and I didn't have a problem with it, but he really had a problem with them because he had nightmares of them escaping. So, but anyway, the vermiculture thing, that's what I do. I get into something, I go full force, and I'm just a crazy person. So anyway, the Florida Federation of Garden Clubs is really where I got my start, and I really cannot thank them enough for bringing something out me that I didn't know I had. So I'm going to teach you today about, go ahead and switch it. I'm going to teach you today about native bees. We all know honeybees. We also know honeybees are from where?
Europe.
Very good. They're not even from here. They were brought over. So they're not native, but we love what they give us. We love their honey. But you know, not everybody loves honeybees. And for what reason do you think?
Sting.
Yeah. So I got my honeybee license certificate for backyard beekeeping. And the only clue I can tell you is do not tell your neighbors. Because that bee that is in my hive stung them. I mean, I don't know how they figured that out, but all of a sudden they're blaming, the person who has the hive. And what that consists of is for consumption only. You cannot sell it, but it still has to be certified and licensed. And you still have to have the same gear whether you have 1 hive or 5 hives. So it became a challenge, but it was a challenge that I took on. I really love it. But then when I got into native bees, I couldn't care less about that hive. I'm sorry. I still have it. It's still a workable hive. Eventually when the queen goes or it collapses, I will not have another honeybee hive. But right now they're going very strong, so they are pests. You have to take care of those pests. So we're going to talk about the leafcutter bee especially, because in the state of Florida, there are 315 native bees, with 29 of them being strictly native to our state. There are 4,000 in the United States. There are 20,000 native bees worldwide. So when you think about it, if someone says to you, you don't have a native bee in your yard, you can tell them, I'm sorry, when there's 4,000 of them out there, 4,000 species, that there has to be out there. A sweat bee is a native bee. You've probably seen them at the ones that are under the ground, where you see where they're drilling all the time. That's a native bee. You don't even know it because we're not educated in that. You didn't know about a leafcutter bee, I'm sure. Everyone says, what about mason bees? Well, mason bees are where, 9 years ago when I started teaching this, they thought the mason bee was where it was in this. Mason bees are not our bee to have here. They are like from I call it the Mason-Dixon line, because they have to have more mud. We have clay. We have the sand. We don't have the kind of dirt that they have to have in order to fill their holes. So we have leafcutter bees, which are amazing. They are the most, they're the cutest thing you ever saw. When they pollinate, okay, honeybees pollinate on their legs, right? That's the only place they pollinate. This little guy here, he does belly flops. Right to the flower, he goes right in on his belly because their hairs are on their belly, they're not on their legs. So you'll see this gob of yellow on them, and that is actually pollen. And they do nothing else except pollinate. They are fantastic. So that's a leafcutter bee. They are 2/3 the size of a honeybee. They're small. They are working bees and they pollinate fantastically. So go ahead. So that's the anatomy, and like I was telling you, the legs are really where, this right here, where you see it's all yellow, that is how, that's their hairs. Not that, a honeybee is strictly legs, so they have less pollen, that means less pollination. But with any kind of native bee, it's always on the belly. That's that's how they pollinate, that's why they are better pollinators. So go ahead. Okay, let's get into, I raise them. Why do I raise them? Because I want native bees in my yard year after year. I have a half an acre, I have fruit trees, I have flowers, I have blueberries. Why not pollinate with my own bees? So how do you do that? Okay, the first thing you have to do is you have to decide, okay, what about a house? What about habitat? Go ahead and switch that. Okay, so this is what I call a chalet. 9 years ago, and this is in my original box, I bought from Crown Bees because I took a course from them, and of course I bought everything from them because I was gung-ho. This was $100. And I'm like, $100? I can't afford all these fancy bee boxes. So I said, okay, this is wonderful to start with. My girlfriend, who has bluebirds come through her, oh, she's fantastic. She said, hey, why don't I take a bluebird box and just take the front of it off, extend this out a little bit, and make it into a bee box. This cost me $10. I had her made 10 of them for me because I have these things everywhere. So this cost me $10, it's cedar. I put it outside, it does the same thing. So then I thought, okay, maybe we can go even cheaper. I did. I had this thing I almost threw away. Please don't throw away anything, because man, I'll tell you what, down the road you're gonna regret it. I wanted this thing gone a long time ago, but now what I do is I set it on my wide windowsill outside, and I put reeds in here, and it became another native box. So it doesn't matter. You can take, I went cheaper, even cheaper. Took a long piece of PVC pipe, because I always think outside the box, and I cut it 5 to 6 inches long. We always want to enclose one end. You want to enclose one end because bees are smart. They don't want predators to be able to come in one way. They want to be able to go in one way and come out the other. They don't want predators to get in here because they eat the goodies inside here, which I'll talk to you about. So then I put the reeds in here. And I set this in nooks of, I have why nail them, but I don't nail this one obviously. But I nailed in the crooks of trees where they lie, and it became a bee box. So then, let's get kids involved. Okay, I did over 2,000 of these. I went to the, it was up in Tallahassee, it was at a state park, they had a bee day, and they wanted to do a workshop, and I'm thinking, oh God, what am I gonna do? Well, they had tons of bamboo. I don't use bamboo, and I'll talk to you about that. But they did that. They found these cans. They got the cans and started saving them. In order to do it, you had to, I put my finger in every one of them because they're kids, and if they cut them, then it became a liability. So we did every finger, and we started putting them in there to make sure nobody bled. And then you have the can openers that take off the top now without the ridges. And so they got their can, we put the rope on, and then gave them all sizes of bamboo because we don't care. They're not raising them, they're giving them a home. And then they took it home. One little kid says to me, but I don't have a house. You know what? If you live in an apartment and you hang it, they're gonna find it. And that's why I tell them, it doesn't matter, you don't have to have a house. The other thing you can do is make these and put them out there somewhere. Go to a trail and hang it up. You don't have to just have a house. And I felt, here's this little guy tell me that he doesn't have a house. He lived in an apartment, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you live. You can still promote the bees and just hang this somewhere. And then his mother said they were going to get a shepherd hook, and they would put it outside and put it on it. So it made him feel better. But I've done this workshop quite a bit for children because children's where it's at. Promoting bees through knowledge with kids, they are our future. And I really believe that they're the ones that are gonna help us save the bees, so. Then you have to find a place, after you've chosen your chalet for $100, or you do this one. That's a chalet when it was clean 9 years ago. You can see that it's been a little weathered, but it's still holding up. Then that's the bluebird box. So I was told that it had to be up high to keep away from predators. And I was like, okay, well, I can do that. So go ahead with the next picture. So I went high. All right, okay, how can I like to document. I document everything. How many times the bee flew in, how much time it's gone. I mean, I was a complete freaking nut. So I had a ladder. My husband's chair is right here, right there. So he was out there spotting me. Well, I was out there too long, and he said, honey, I'm going in the house. If you need me, yeah. I'm like, oh, I'll be too late. He says, I'll see you fall. I said, thank you, buddy. So going high, not necessary. But go ahead with the next one. What I found out was that you can go low. And I got smart. You have to outsmart the predators. You see the chicken wire on there? Okay. The squirrels couldn't get in it. The birds weren't getting in it. But the bees could still fly in and out. Water source is important. Every human being or animal needs water. Food is second, water is first. And I have watched so many always lift like put blocks or something in there so they can, rest on there. Because my husband, I was in Tennessee, and my husband caught to tell me that a bee drowned because he didn't put the rocks in there, and he felt so bad, but he had to tell me. And I said, it's okay, it's okay. But you do want some rocks in there because they like to go into the water. They don't like to, they don't like a bird. They like to go into the water and really splash around. Bees literally will drink it. So, so that is the water source there, and that is my. Do you see that? You see that little bag in there? That is, but where the reeds are on the top. Okay, I'm going to tell you about that as soon as I talk. Well, I'm also going to tell you about the cocoons. When you start, you have to start somewhere. Like you buy peeps or chicks to raise chickens as eggs. Well, I had to buy cocoons. So I went through Crown Bees, which is where, like I said, I took the first course. I bought my first 100 bees, the cocoons. They look like cigars rolled. That's what they look like. They're about that big. Males are bigger, females are smaller. That's how they know. They send you so many males and so many females. And I mean, I did everything right. I put them in there like that, and they're supposed to come out and fly out. And as it gets warm, which the end of April is when you put them out. If you put them out before it's 70 degrees every night, mine are not out yet. They're still in the refrigerator, dormant. Because if I let them warm up, they're going to start emerging. But a lot of our things aren't ready yet for them to, there's nothing there for them yet. Now, all of my fruit trees are in bloom. I mean, amazingly. My macadamia nut tree, I have a Barbados cherry tree. You notice these are native. I have the native everything. I have the native Gouda avocado tree. I have native all fruit trees in my yard. But they're just really starting. So April is a good time. The end of April is when I will bring my cocoons out and I will start placing them. So I bought my first 100 in the first year. I was on the phone constantly like a mother hen. Well, they're not coming out. They have an 800 number that you can call with issues or problems. And oh my God, I think they're like, oh, it's that girl again. But to learn is to ask questions. And so they encouraged it. I don't know if they encouraged it as much as I was doing, but it's okay. The first year, I didn't have a really good thing on it. So the second year, I ordered another 100, and I put them out there, and it was amazing. It was like it just all started to come. It was like they knew where they were going. So you put them out like that. I put reeds on the top here. And if you look at this, notice on the back, because of predators, the holes are 1/4 inch and 6 inches long, okay? Now, the reeds, I'm gonna pass the reeds around because I keep talking about them. I raise bees. I need a way to harvest them. If I use bamboo, you can't break into. You just can't. They're great for kids, they're great for if you just want to do nature itself, okay? You cannot harvest them. I raise them, but I also give back. I give them to the schools that I'm involved in and things, so I need 2,000. But these are the reeds. And you can feel that they're like a toilet paper roll. That's kind of like what I kind of think they are. And I'm going to explain to you, let me see the next slide, please, sir. Okay, there they are, that's the bag. That's what they look like. And you see the longer one? He's a male. I knew he was a male. I counted my males, they told me 10. I wanted to make sure I had 10 because males are good for one thing. And without the males, then I don't have eggs. So I counted to make sure I had them because, like I said, I'm crazy. I have plenty of males. You put them out there the first to emerge. They're out the earliest. They go out, and believe it or not, if you have any bananas or any kind of fruit that you want to ferment, and I put them in dishes in my garden, which bring gnats, but don't worry about it, whatever. I mean, I don't mind anything anymore. But the males, they get all sugared up. They love that sugar. They like, I call it drunken, because they really do look pretty drunk when they're done, because it's fermented, but they do enjoy it. And that gets them ready for those females. That gives them the oomph. So it's always good to have some fruit out there. Again, you don't have to, but I'm raising them. I'm giving them every opportunity. So after the males emerge, the females emerge. You will not believe this. This box right here. I'm going to tell you something really great. I've never seen bees mate. So I knew it was a male because it was big, and he was on this box, and whatever he was doing was just, I don't even know what he was doing, but he was there for the longest time. So he's gone. He flies away. Whatever. The same day, I'm out in my garden, and I got to see this like really close. They don't even care if you're like this. They just don't care. They're so busy, and they don't sting. They will not sting. So, you know what he was doing there? The female smells the scent. Now she's on here, and what do you think he did? He come flying in, and he got on top of her. I thought he killed her. I mean, they were there for the longest time. So what did I do? I called crown bees. I wanted to know what that was, and I had a feeling, but you know what? I want to be able to really say what I mean when I teach. And he said, you got to witness birth. He said, you're so lucky. He said they were mating. The scent gland from the male is on the box. She smells it. She's involved in it. He comes in, and that is like his landing. He knows her there. It was the best thing since sliced bread. She was stunned. He left, and she just was there. And I'm like, I really thought he killed her. Because I don't know what, that was right on top of him. So anyway, these are things that in 9 years that I've got to witness that so many haven't, because I've taken the time. It was the best thing. It was just great. And I didn't really have a camera. If I would have left, I was afraid that if I came back, I'd miss the whole shebang. So I didn't get a picture of it. So anyway, that's the leaf cutters. And you can see that I did take some and place it in here. Lesson learned, leave them in the bag, because that was just easy prey. So a lot of them did not survive. Go ahead, sir. So you want to leave them in that bag. Placement in cocoon, same thing. You can do that, but that was when they were up really high, and they stood a better chance, but down low they're not going to. Go ahead. See how I told you they look like cigars. Okay, so this is where I'm going to tell you. This is what I harvest right there. Oh, that's bamboo. That's a lemon. That is, they look like cigars when they come out. So this is how they do it. Female goes out. She gets the, so go to the next one and see if the leaf is on there, sir. Oh, that's my yard. No, go ahead. No. That's okay. Go. That's me. That's for me. Did you go backwards? Here we go. There you go. Forward, another one. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, so they go out and these leaves, these bees, like the leaves that are kind of like soft, I found out they love rose bushes. I found out that they love my powder puff tree leaves. And how you know is because they take a slice out of it. They put it in their mouth and their saliva glands. Remember that scent gland? They saliva it up. They fly back and they pack the end of this reed. Then they come back and they do it again. Now, I watched all this. I have a journal with how many times they come back. They're in there forever. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm telling you what, I was falling asleep while waiting for them. Well, what they're doing is then they lay the egg, then they pack it. Then they do the same process all the way out. There can be 10 eggs in here. So when I tell you that they are in and out, in and out, in and out, how do they know? Can anyone here tell me how you think they know which hole is theirs?
Scent.
Say it. Yep. Scent gland. It's the scent. One bee, one reed. If you move those reeds, I took the ones out that were full and it mixed up the whole shebang and called crown bees, and they said, well, think about if someone moved your apartment and then you couldn't find it, blah, blah, blah. And next thing you know, I went, okay, so these poor bees were so messed up. They were going in and out and they shouldn't have had to. They know where their home is at. They know exactly where to go into by the scent, and I moved the whole. Well, anyway, we don't do that anymore. Don't do that because it messed them up. So they fill the reed, and do you see that black on the ends? You see the black? There's black on those. They're black because when they're done filling it, they pack it with black because black is not attractive. Other predators don't want things that look like they're dead. That is a full reed. Now that right there, you see that? You see that right there? That's a native wasp. I call them crown bees because I didn't want wasps. I thought they stung. I didn't want them. I don't know what I could do. And he says, you are so lucky you've got a native wasp. They do pollinate. And they also do not sting. They're very gentle. So anyway, I had some wasp babies too, but it's okay. Okay, go ahead. There they are. There they are working it. He's in there. He's doing his thing. This is up on top of the thing where I'm on a ladder. And I am very close. They do not sting. Do you know they do not carry the same serum as a honeybee? It's like a mosquito bite. It's not a sting. Honeybees put their stinger in there and it's barred. And so when they take it out, of course, you all heard the story about their bellies come out, whatever. Because it's still in there, that's what spreads through the bloodstream. Bees don't have that capability. This is why I can have these in schools, by the way. Okay, go ahead. Okay, I do want to tell you real quick, this became costly because I'm doing 2,000. Then I realized to invest in this. So when you invest in this, you take them apart. And then I could go like this to get the cocoons out. Before, I had to do this to every one of them, all the way down and around and around. And this was great when I did it in the schools because I took them all into the schools and I figured child labor was great. They thought it was fun. They found the best things in these reeds, that one-eyed things, and I mean the boys were like, "Oh my gosh, Miss Christie, come look at this!" And the girls were like, "Oh!" The girls ended up wanting more reeds to harvest. So the kids harvest my reeds every year at the Jackson Elementary School. They look forward to it, and I've gotten close to almost 2,000 every year, and they love it. And I always give back to the schools as well. So, but yeah, so there's my barred wire. Oh, there it is. You see the bee on it? That's a female bee. You see it on the left? On that, right there. You see it? You do see it, right?
Yes.
Okay, oh God, my witness. that's the female bee that day. That's her right there. She never moved for the longest time. Then she kind of just flew away, so. But anyway, so go ahead. I forgot I had that. Oh, sorry. All right, there's the black I told you about. Very important. Once they were filled, remember I took them out because I thought I was doing them justice. Don't do that. Go ahead. Oh yeah, that's me. Yep, I'm up on the ladder. That ladder stayed up there that whole summer, and I just kept climbing up and down. Go ahead. I don't do it anymore. Okay, remember I told you about the circle? listen, my garden may not be beautiful, but it is healthy with holes. And I tell you what, any garden that looks good, there's a problem, I'm sorry. Because I read the butterflies. Everything I have is for bees, birds, and butterflies. Look at your Dutchman's pipe vines. Look at your passion vines. Listen, mine is bare and nothing there. And that's a good thing. And then it comes back and then we repeat the cycle again. I never get upset anymore. I love holes in my plants. They look like crap, but my garden looks like something lives in it. And that's what I want. And I have a half an acre of pure enjoyment that it's overwhelming sometimes, but my bees take care of it. And my butterflies are gorgeous. Go ahead. That's in my yard. And other people may think they have a disease, or oh my God, what's he eating? Is there one of those big gobblestopper things that like it's big? And I came from up north and I went, what's that? Cut their heads off. Oh my God. So that was pretty crazy when they told me, you have to kill them now. I'm like, isn't it a grasshopper? Well, let me tell you, my kumquat tree took a kick from those things. They're naughty. So, but they will not hurt your plants. They're just taking that to pack their eggs in that reed. So, go ahead. Okay, I go to Disney World every year. This is going back years ago. I actually did floral design with the flower show judges for Epcot's flower thing. They used to have the flower design area. And we toured it every year, and they gave us a free ticket. And they never had bee boxes, but they had this beautiful butterfly garden. They had a place for birds. Never once did I see a native bee box. Well, I wrote to Oprah and tried to go to Africa and got nowhere. But I thought, let me write to Mr. Wall here. And I found an email to write to. I'm not saying that my email got them to do it. Because, I mean, I wrote my email about the native bee boxes and how, it should be enriched with birds and butterflies, etc. And honest to gosh, a couple years later, this is in Disney World. Well, they did it. They did the same thing I do. So I was like, I take credit. But I don't think it's credit due, so go ahead. But I was pretty happy about that, so. Oh, and listen, like I told you, don't ever throw anything away. This is a ladybug house, which is bah humbug. That ladybug thing is a bunch of baloney. You ever see the butterfly houses? I was told they go like this, they flutter in. They saw something in me like, yeah, that girl knows what. So anyway, this is a, I have geckos, or whatever you call these things. I call them geckos. And inside is this, because I look, to the right, was like this big ball, and I thought, actually, it almost looked like a wasp nest. And I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna have to go. Baby geckos. They were everywhere. When I didn't disturb it, I looked in and I kind of took it out, I lifted it, and they just all scurried about. They were so freaking cute. So, listen, I get rid of nothing. My yard looks like trash, but we live in an HOA, so from your front yard to your front door, it has to look like, oh. From my lanai out, they walk back there, they would. But anyway, so that's my answer. Oh, look at this. These bees and the solitary wasps, they will not leave. I mean, this is why the kids at the schools, when we release them, because they harvest their own as well. And they're like, when they first come out, they want to be warm, of course. And we were releasing them, and the kids, we took pictures of the kids with the bees on their fingers. Because who else can say they have a bee? And I'll tell you what, take time. If you have a hobby like this, and a powder puff tree, I can tell you, please have a powder puff tree. Have an almond bush. Have purple salvia. I'm going to tell you what, it sounds like a train. And when you get under that powder puff tree, and you just stop and listen, there's tens of thousands of them just humming and buzzing. You can hear them. It is the best thing. I never took the time to listen to my work, but now I love to actually get up close. And bumblebees, never did I ever have a bumblebee. I will tell you that I was curious as to the nesting of them, and I learned that they're underground, they're under leaves and things like that. Don't rake all your leaves. Leave the habitat there. That is what's so important. But I will tell you, they are very gentle when they're pollinating. I decided to go find the nest and follow, and it was in the left-hand corner of my yard, and it kept going under. And I was like, oh, so I wanted to see. They're nasty. They get real defensive, and they will come after you. So don't bother their houses, because they're not very kind. So, but yeah, we do release them. Okay, next one. That's my yard. That is the bumblebee. I was that close. That's not bringing it in. That is that close. They really, the native bees are just so gentle. They have nothing. They have nothing to defend. They are solitary bees. A solitary bee means one hole, one house. They are the queen, the drone, the worker, the everything. They don't care about anything else around except for what they're doing. That is why honeybees are defensive, because why? They're protecting the hive. Native bees, they have nothing to protect, so they're not aggressive. So, go ahead. That's my yard well. The bumblebees are plentiful. Go ahead. And we all do know that, we do have to have bees to pollinate. And I don't know if you've ever seen that movie with Jerry Seinfeld as the bee. I forget the name of it now. Does anybody know it? I forget.
I think it's called The Bee, isn't it?
It's something like that. It is the cutest when there wasn't a Rose Bowl parade because the roses couldn't be pollinated. I mean, and everything was just dead in the world. And it was the saddest movie, but then whenever they see the bees, of course, then everything popped up. So go ahead. But I do preach this a lot. Educating the public and our youth, that's where it's at. I really believe it. I preach it and I speak it. I'm an advocate for it, and I speak everywhere where I'm asked. Go ahead. Okay. All right, you ready? Sip life's sweet moments, work together, create a buzz, mind your own beeswax. Always find your way home. Stay close to your honey and be yourself. And that to me just really summed it up very nicely. But I do want to say that the handouts that I have are here. I have the wildflower license plate because I'm in the Wildflower Association as well, but not here. And now, don't take this wrong, folks, but I want to get rid of that license plate because I've already reserved my bee plate. And I'm promoting this with another gal, and we are trying to get 3,000. We have 2,000 so far, and I want my bee plate so bad. Tennessee has one, and that makes me mad because that's where my kids are at. And they can say, Mom, just get a Tennessee plate. And I'm saying, you can't do that, I don't live here. So, I mean, they just think I'm gonna, get it. I said, no, we can do it ourselves. So, here we go, Christy, another thing we're gonna try to do. So, but if you're interested, take one of these cards, take a few. If you know somebody who would like to promote it, they are gonna be, the money will be used for the Florida Honeybee Research, which we all know that we need that for the honeybees. I mean, they have a lot more to lose than our native bees. Our native bees are here to stay too. I mean, but they don't have the colony collapse disorder and all or the things. But please don't use chemicals. Do not use insecticides, please. And if you think something is at your plants, it's probably a native bee. So just be thankful you have that. So, are there any questions at all? Yeah.
What's that when you say they put it in black? What is the black?
It has to be something they're mixing with their saliva. I should call crown bees, right? I'll get that answer for you though. I really don't know. I always thought it was like a mud. It looks like a mud, black mud or something. And I don't know if it comes from what they're mixing with their saliva. Like when you open them, you can see when you open the cocoon is green because they're mixing with green plants. So they must be mixing something with that saliva that makes that black. And I'll tell you, that black is pounded in there. Oh, big time. So, any other questions?
What are the predators?
Okay, Okay, your predator, well, like anything else, and believe it or not, birds and squirrels.
So they go in looking for the caterpillar, or what do you call it?
No, the cocoons. Oh yeah, they're not cocoons at that point yet. They're cocoons when they eat themselves. They eat what they have in that reed. It's like anything else in nature, just like, you know, the butterfly.
Yeah.
Okay, you know how it goes and it eats the passion-by-null and then it goes into that. Okay, with a bee, the same thing. The mother has given them enough nourishment for every egg in there. That is what she is packing in there. They eat that to grow, and that's how they become the bee. So they want those eggs.
Birds.
Oh, the birds and squirrels eat them. They're like a little delicacy.
How do
Yeah.
squirrels get in that little tiny?
Oh, they don't get in it, they chew it over. I have
Oh,
those
the
reeds all
outside
over
they
the ground and they shut it apart. Squirrels are naughty. If you find them bird feeders that they say, I paid $100 for a bird feeder, squirrel proof, yeah, for the first day. And next thing you know, they're out there doing all kinds of jumping jacks and stuff on it, and all this feed is everywhere. So I'm not a fan of them. Can you tell? Yeah.
Where do you recommend getting the reeds? Why, if you don't want to open them, you just want to leave them alone, the bamboo is okay?
Yes.
Where do you get that kind of stuff?
Okay, so crownbees.com, but I will tell you that crownbees.com is where 9 years ago I did everything because I wasn't educated. If you put in reeds, paper reeds, in your Google search, you're going to find them cheaper, and I'm just being totally honest, you're going to find
I
them
did do
cheaper.
that, but there were so many varieties and so many different prices, and I
Yeah.
felt like, I wasn't quite sure.
As long as it's a 1/4 inch. A 1/4 inch is what you want for the state of Florida. That is when you're going to get the sweat bees, the leaf cutter bees. A lot of bees don't need habitat. They make their own. They're in the ground, or they're dwellers, that kind of thing. But these bees need holes. They don't make holes. So don't ever let anyone think that, oh, I can't have these in my yard because they're going to make holes in my house. No. And the only reason honeybees get in your house is because they found an opportunity. And they're opportunists. If they have a queen where they have scouted out another safety area and they find a louver on the end of your house that's cracked, okay, they're going to take that opportunity to use it and make a hive out of it. You've seen them pictures and nightmares where they crack the wall up and all that and honey coming out. Well, if you would have fixed your home outside or your louver, they're opportunists. So, but yes, you can also use bamboo. You can't harvest them. But you know, in nature, we don't harvest it. Nature doesn't harvest. It's the survival of the
They
fittest.
say after they use it once, if you use it, you're supposed to replace it and not have to reuse it every season.
When you do the reeds, like bees, you can only use them once because you really have to open them up.
If you use the bamboo too, they don't want you to use it multiple times.
Well, the thing is, again, the bamboo, excuse me, the bamboo, the bees will emerge. And they emerge from, of course, the sun is what emerges them. Your first one's always going to be this one here, of course. Then the sun hits further down, further down, further down. Then they all leave. Another bee will use this. Yes, ma'am, they will. It's not the same as a reed. This is bamboo. They're opportunists of
I thought this
holes.
is the disease things they suggest you replace them.
Well, they probably do because they want to. Or do it.
It's a business plan.
Yeah, the business plan is if you're gonna raise them and harvest them. If they're gonna do that, then you have to have that reed. Or you can invest in this. This is a great investment. I had to because I couldn't afford the reeds anymore. These are like $49. And you can see they are just, you can see I've harvested numerous times. And I never have to buy this again, never. I just have to make sure that, I clean them like this, I clean with my nail. Actually, I bought a brush, but I'm just showing you, you can take your nail, because when I harvest, I'll actually go, you don't want to hurt them, and then they pull apart. Where each egg is, they pull apart, they're individuals. You just have to pull apart gently. But this is the cheapest route. This you can get on Crown Bees. I think this is the only place you can get something like this, is crownbees.com. But definitely crownbees.com for that. But yeah, and these are $49 for 100, I think it was. But this was through Crown Bees. I don't use Crown Bees anymore. I use an off-brand, even Amazon sells them. So, yeah, but see, you have to, it's 1/4 inch, these are easy for harvesting. You do have to bring them in. You do have to keep them dormant. You don't have to put them in the refrigerator, I prefer to. You can keep them in a cool place in your house and put them in a Rubbermaid. They don't need air because they're not emerging. They're still inside that cocoon working their way, eating themselves into a bee. So they're an egg when they go in your house. It's not until they start eating the food that Mama has provided for them that they actually become a bee. So, yeah.
Is there a specific time of the year when they mate and produce the eggs?
April. Well, April to the 1st of October. 1st of October, I bring them in. April, usually the middle of April is when I usually, as long as it's 70 degrees all day, all night, that's the key. And they are a summer hot bee. So the hotter it is, the better it is. And bring them in by October and just harvest them. Or like I said, if you're just gonna let nature take its course, I have 2 tree trunks that my husband was gonna pay to have that guy to come take the stump removal. I was like, oh my God, no! I only got a drill bit. And I did holes in it, just drilled straight down. It doesn't matter. I don't care the ratio of how many's gonna live. I'm giving native bees a hole, so, yeah.
Will they get along with the honeybees if you had honeybees in your yard?
Oh, they do.
They do?
Oh, yeah,
So the
absolutely.
honeybees don't try to move into this or
Oh,
anything?
no, honeybees could care less
Stay
about
around
a solitary bee's home. That honeybee has one direction of pattern, and that is that beehive and out, beehive and out. I've watched that numerous times, and the key to with the honeybee hive that I have, you always want like a 6-foot edge or something, and you have the door facing that, not into your yard, away from your yard. Then what that does is their flight pattern goes up and out, up and out. They don't even, that's probably why they're going to my neighbor's yard, but I really don't care. She don't know, but I'm helping her, so you know what, she ain't a nice person. I still get a Christmas gift.
When you use different size holes, does that encourage different bees to go into
Yes,
there?
ma'am, it sure does, yep. If you get a chance, make sure you take that free brochure. It has the different native bees on it, and you will see the different sizes. It will tell you if it's a hole to be it necessary for a hole or if it is a ground floor, so, yes.
Can you talk a little bit about sweat bees? Sweat bees are less bee-like than other bees, and there's a lot of people who don't know what they are. Just last night I was on a Facebook wildlife page, and a picture of a sweat bee was on there for like a good week, and people all were guessing about what this green metallic insect was.
Yeah.
And people don't know that it's a bee.
That's right, and you know what's funny? Everybody hates the sweat bee. Oh, they sting. They like the salt they're getting off of you. They need salt like everything else does. That's like butterflies. If they land on you, they're like, oh, you're such a lucky person. No, it's because you have salt on you. They're taking that salt because we all need a certain amount of salt. Bees are the same way. I mean, if a bee lands on you, a native bee, not a honeybee, a honeybee just stands still. But they're actually getting something out of what you have on. That's why different smells. Things that people say, oh, well, if you eat garlic or you do this, okay. So this is our little sweat bee right here. And I have to tell you, he doesn't pollinate a lot. And I don't see them in my yard that much. I really don't. But they pollinate again from here and here. And I'll pass this one around.
Is that also called a hoverfly?
You know what, I don't know. Well, let's see. I tell you what, I've done research on all of these because I wrote little tidbits about it. So let's see real quick. Isn't that funny? You're interested in the sweat bee, and I don't think I've ever had any, but number 18. Where are you at, number 18? Let's see. Hang on one second. Let's read him. Oh, here. Let's see. This is when I took everybody. Okay, so, oh, you don't believe that. What a shame. Oh, it's the one that got ripped off. I mean, for Lord have mercy's sake.
The honeybee ate it.
Sweat bee bees like the something blah, 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 are members of the large and diverse blah, blah, blah. Southwestern species is a common resident of Arizona, blah, blah, blah. Sparse hairs in their instrument is a shiny metallic green. Well, heck, I could have told you that, but I don't have too many of these. Had a cuckoo bee. A cuckoo bee, you get a cuckoo bee, they're crazy. They don't fly straight. They fly like this. It's like they don't know a straight pattern. And I'm telling you, I'm running and get. I have this here. If you ever want a little handy thing, it's called Common Bees of Eastern North America. And I have one out in my shed area, so if I see a bee, I'm ready to get it quicker than the house. But I really don't, I don't know if they're. I really don't know that much about them, except that I know that they call them sweat bees because they actually do like the salt intake. So I really don't know too much about it. But I'm sorry, I can't really answer your question, I guess.
I think it's just because they're metallic green.
Yeah.
People don't think they're a bee.
Oh, no, they're a bee.
Oh, I know it, but people don't identify them as a bee because they.
And here's a
don't
different
yellow a lot.
sweat. Here's a different sweat bee. Oh, let's see number 2. Oh, it's all there. Let's see. I tell you what, I have, these things are, I guess I should redo them, those are real hearts. Oh, here it is. Okay, they're especially colorful. Males of this species have a shiny green brassy head and thorax, but a wildly contrasting black and yellow banded abdomen. So that's why this sweat bee is a male. Then it says, look for these bees on sunflowers and other common plants in the late spring and summer. So it really doesn't say. That's what I researched, sorry. Why we have so much room on here, But this is the male and this would be the female then, is what they're saying, yeah. But their bodies almost look like a wasp, don't they? You know the difference of a wasp, that they have that pointy body. They're not like the bee. The bees are so cute and fuzzy, usually. But the wasp, and I was scared to death of the solitary bee, but he didn't sting at all. I couldn't get rid of him. I mean, I was pushing him like this, and he just wouldn't leave the bin. I was like, buddy, you gotta go. I like you, but not that much. So, is there any other questions that I probably can't answer? No, I'm kidding. Yes.
I just want to tell a quick story.
Sure.
So this morning, I do have honeybees, and I have lots of native pollinators as well. But this morning I went out in my honeybee area, and a very, very large bumblebee landed on my foot and stayed there for maybe 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And it did have, I sat there and it was like on my foot. It was probably getting salt.
Yeah. I don't know if they're sold on your shoe.
Oh, right on
But,
the
on your foot, probably,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And it had one little leg where it was missing it's like resting and it's missing the end of its first, the final segment. And it was just kind of looking at me and like showing me its but it was very, very sweet. And I love native pollinators and I love the native bees, both honeybees and.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
How many honeybees do you have? How many
I just have one hive right now because
That's what I
my
have.
neighbor, when my mother had fallen, was in the hospital, they killed my other hive. They went and sprayed it.
Oh
I
my
was there.
gosh.
So I only have one right now.
I really dislike people sometimes.
I have flowers everywhere and I have so many wildflowers and they hate my yard. So,
My neighbor, you know what, I
so I
have
understand you're very sad.
I have all natural hedging because we have a beautiful pool and everything. And, I don't want anybody looking anyway. We planted those 16 years ago. I have all natural hedges. My neighbors don't even know what I have. They have no business back there.
Yeah. Well, she goes around and she shows me her lost can and she'll walk around shaking. And they go around and they'll spray, on the edges and they'll spray over. I'm like, oh, there's some tomatoes that please don't spray, and they were dead 2 days ago. Yeah, so neighbors can
That's
do
I told you, don't tell your neighbors you even have one.
Yeah, it was a very large bumblebee, and it was
That is so
amazing.
amazing. Bumblebees are they're so beautiful. They're so big. I have black ones. They're humongous. And I get so stoked when I see those. And they're always out there in my honeysuckle. I have the native honeysuckle, best stuff for hummingbirds, man. It's all over my arbor. And I have you can walk through there and the hummingbirds and hear them. I just have my husband calls my yard my little piece of paradise. And it really truly is. And I was a police officer for 22 years when I retired here. And I never in a million years thought I would be teaching bees, be a flower show judge internationally. I mean, or be working my way up to the state in the most beautiful state that I adore now. I never knew it was even in me. I forgot my past, I moved on, and I created my own paradise, and I truly did. Because I worked with a lot of people like that neighbor of yours that I say sometimes I don't like people, but I love some.
No, up north in Orchard Park, New York, I was cutting my grass with a riding lawnmower and accidentally ran over like a bumblebee, but he didn't get hit. And he came out from underneath the lawnmower and stung me in the back of the leg.
He told you, didn't he?
How does he know that, like, why wouldn't he sting the lawnmower? Why?
Because he's smarter than you think he is. That's why. He knew a human was behind it. Humans are the worst enemy of so many things. And it's so true because I think if you become educated and knowledge yourself in so many things, and these insects and animals have been on Earth way before we were, and they are survivors. So he just showed you that you probably were too close to his house. And move your lawnmower, buddy. Don't cut that grass. No. My husband would love that.
Honeybees have facial recognition, so it's quite likely that bumblebees would also have facial recognition. They've done studies.
Wow.
And also they know, you breathe out carbon, they sense that.
Yep, that's the fear part of it. That's why you get stung.
That's one of the reasons, yeah.
That's why you shouldn't run. And don't go in water, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. If a bee is chased, you go into water, what the heck?
Nice bees are chasing you.
Well, yeah. We had Africanized bees. We have a full boy that said, oh, ma'am, he said, I know you like bees, he says, because he knows that bees are everywhere and he's not afraid of them. He says, ma'am, I know you love bees. He says, but I'm telling you, I think these are Africanized. I just really said they've chased me. I said, where at? He said, at one of the neighbors' pools they went to, and I said, can you show me? Because I want to know where it's at because I report it and they'll come and they will kill those. The Tampa Beekeepers Association will come out and take care of them because we can't have them mixing with our honeybees. That's why we have so many of the collapses and things. So, and that's what they do. They take over the bee, our native bee, our bees, our honeybees, and the Africanized mix, and they take over. So I went over and he says, ma'am, don't go too close, don't go. I said, I ain't getting close. I said, just point to me where it's at. So he's pointing to me, and I said, okay, that's good enough. So the Beekeeper Association came out, and they will take care of that for free. So, are you a member of your Beekeepers Association here?
Not currently.
Okay, it's a wealth of, that's where I had a mentor from there. And he actually helped me set my first box up, and he gave me my first.
I the UF Master Honeybee program.
Are you really? Oh, I did. I took a tour of that, but I did not take it. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh wow. Well, good for you. I'm so proud of you. I have one beehive, and like I said, I want to have another one because I don't have time. I have to have time, and I just don't have time. And my husband's like, don't water your plants, but I will not take care of your bees. So, are there any other questions?
What becomes of the males after
They die in 2 weeks. Dead. Gone. Not needed. It's a brutal world up there, but I'm honest. The females, they live for 6 to 8 weeks, and they are the sole workers, the drones, the protectors, you name it. Them women, they're tough. And then they can drop the weapon. And that they do actually enjoy they do like the fruit. The males especially are the ones that like the fermented fruit. So, but my husband doesn't drink, so there you go. Any other questions? You have been a great group. I hope you have learned something. I hope that you became educated just a little bit, and that's all I ever ask is that you take one thing away. I do have a question for you though. All right, so I did say, if you recall, I said something at the beginning about how many native bees are there in the state of Florida only. Raise your hand.
4,000.
Nope. Florida only.
315.
But how many of them in Florida?
24.
Okay, who said 29? She did. Okay, it's 29. How many bees in the world are there?
40,000.
20,000.
20,000, that's where your 20,000. These are actually bee seeds.
I
so-
keep saying 20,000.
Yeah, those That's me right there, the queen bee. You didn't even know that was me, did you? And these are my grandkids, they hate me. Because every time there's a bee ride or a bee anything, I make them get on it. And they're like, oh, Grandma Mia, no, again. And so I made them, look, Grace wanted off, he was crying. I was like, sit down, I gotta get a picture. But anyway, I was promoting bees and I think, oh, that was a bee hive. Remember the bee? Well, I don't know if you do, but my mother had a bee hive.
Yeah.
And man, when she took the pins out, it still stayed there. So I'm just saying, I remember it well. Let me think about, when did I say you put the bees out? Raise your hand. Yes. When did I say you bring them in? Oh, God, you all get it. Okay. That's let me go with a different one here. Hold on. Does anybody remember what the one thing is? The one difference between a honeybee and a native bee? Raise your hand.
Hairs on their abdomens instead of honey.
Okay, that's one thing. Okay. There's another thing that is totally different.
They have a hive.
Who has a hive?
Honeybee has the hive.
And what does the other ones have?
They're solitary.
Solitary is the word I'm looking for. Good girl. All right, solitary, one bee, one hive. Good girl. Let's see. I have a couple more giveaways here. Let me think about it. I'm going to cheat and look on my thing here. Ooh. Oh, what did I say? Native bees. Honeybees inject something that native bees don't. Raise your hand. Stinger. The stinger, but what are they putting in you? Do you know? There you go. Okay. Venom. It's for, that's what makes the anaphylactic shock. Yeah, very good. One more. These are native seeds, by the way. I did not bring you anything that was not native. I'm like, if you go to a native place, you better bring some native something or other, that's for sure. Let's see. Raise your hand. What is the website I told you where I originally started? Yeah, raise your hand. Crown Bees. There you go. Yep. And with that, thank you very much. This one, I'm screening. If nothing else, this has the pictures of the bees. And if you want to be license plate, I think that's fine. I'm gonna get it, I don't care. My husband, we're gonna have to go out there and promote it, so. Anyway, please. Thank you, Bruce. Absolutely. I hope so. I hope so.
Now, we go to raffle, so if you'll hang in there for just a couple of minutes.
Put it down.
We just have four things to give away. Here you go. Okay, this is number, last three numbers, 308. One of the four things, the airport. One of the books or the giant airplane. Here, you're all. This is 300. Yes. Terrific. You can have one of the two. Oh my gosh. Did I get it to turn off? No problem.
Interesting.
Be very stubborn. This is 299. All right. I can
Now, but set up a shooter or anything.
I would say 5 to 7.
Oh, I would say very careful.
So, about 5 or 7 years old. I found it as a baby, and I took it off and I just stuck it in there. And I took it out there to grow and they grow and they grow.
I have a baby that I found up just outside. Yes, we get bird sand in that area.
Yeah, it doesn't want, because I saw the shade stuff. Yeah,
So that one I have.
well, look at that. I mean, it was, I picked it up from a place, I went on Facebook, like that.
I volunteered to keep in the yard, so I got it away from the water. And so that goes.
I know,
So every little bit. Funny story to share with you. My husband back in 1975 or something. Were different then. He had to travel actually, it was like the only thing that I ever did was
gets water, it doesn't get water. If you have it outside, it's like a problem. I looked down there and you could see the color of the face. And now it's what we can do.
I did, that's why I've got trees already. And I had a big old stack of sitting in the they're outside. Inside the street.